Good morning. It is 7:44 a.m. on Tuesday, September 28th, 2021. I'm Christiana Ellis, and I just got up. This is 5 more minutes. Running a little bit late this morning. Sometimes when you have a dog or any other living creature, uh, you know, sharing your domicile, sometimes there are unexpected things like them wanting to wake you up early because it seems like they urgently need to go outside, and then they proceed to walk around outside for a long time without actually doing the thing that was supposedly so urgent. And then, yeah. Anyway, that's the sort of thing that just happens sometimes. Rocket is a very good boy, and I love him even when he makes me have disrupted sleep. I feel like I had something else I was going to talk about today. Up until last night, I decided to spend the evening watching the rest of the Midnight Mass show that I mentioned. Was that just yesterday? I guess it was. Um, so there are 7 total episodes, and now I have finished the series, and I think it's great. As I mentioned, it's the same creator as the previous Netflix horror series Haunting of Hill House and Haunting of Bly Manor, which I both thought were good. I think this one is the best of the three, in my opinion. I'm not going to get into spoilers. I will say that there is one plot point of real significance where we certainly get suggestions of what happened, but it's never confirmed, and we really never deal with that detail or why it happened. And that was a little bit frustrating. It feels like a loose end. I mean, by the end of it, it doesn't matter really, but it just feels it's certainly extremely meaningful when it happens, and then just kind of the show just never really deals with it. And so I wish that, like, that's my one complaint, I guess, is that I wish that loose end had been tied off. But overall, I think it's great. And I recommend watching it if you are into, horror. Um, and in particular, I said this in the on Twitter last night. Once again, without getting too into the details of it, I have some complicated feelings about religion personally, and a lot of horror that explores those things, like The Exorcist is one of the classic examples, don't really work on me. Like Catholicism was never quite my thing. Whenever during my own religious explorations, and I don't, so I don't have any specific attachment to that stuff. But what I will say is that this show is, like, when I say slow paced, that always sounds automatically like it's a bad thing, but I think it's not. I think for some people it could be. It is a slow, very talky show, lots of monologues, but I think those are well handled. It's like I feel like even though things happen slowly, I feel like they, like it. I still like it. But I guess what I was just getting around to is the explorations of the religious issues and questions in this hit me in a way that I can't really think of any other, certainly no other horror movie or story that has worked on me in quite this way. But yeah, I really like it, and so I recommend it. If, like, obviously, I think for yourself whether you like horror shows or horror movies or not. And if you don't, then it's probably not for you, because that's what it is. But if you do, then I think this is a good one. So, can leave it there, I suppose. And because I'm a little bit my normal morning routine disrupted, I've got to get to it so I can get ready for work. But in the meantime, I have, yeah, here, just to fill a little bit more extra time, I posted the podcast version of. That's what the other thing I was going to talk about. I'll talk more about that tomorrow, but just to remind myself, I posted the podcast version of our Root Session Zero game, and I put a little bit more production effort into it than has been my typical of late. And so I'm kind of trying something there. And maybe I'll talk more about that tomorrow, because that's the other thing that I was going to talk about before I finished a show that I felt more compelled to talk about urgently. All right, I'll leave it there, and I'll talk to you all tomorrow for 5 more minutes.